Welcome back, everybody, to episode 003 of the Stereocast. Today, we are talking about Prada's first clothing collection and the artists that I've heard across the United States.
Welcome back to Stereocast episode 003. I'm Noah.
And I am Sam. We thank you for tuning in. Noah, have you got some updates for us?
Yeah, on the daily metrics side, or weekly metrics more of, we are currently sitting at 8 YouTube subscribers. So we've gained 5 people. So thank you so much for subscribing. We are currently sitting at 59 followers on Instagram. So thank you to the 3 people that followed. We very much appreciate it.
Our Instagram is stereoface.vision, and you can also check out our website, stereoface.vision as well, no.com. We want to hype our first batch of silhouette tees are still for sale. Make sure you grab that. It's a great layer. And it's our first run, right?
Yep, our first official run.
So snag those. We still have some in stock, and we also have our coin and stolen tees available. So if Mac Miller or System of a Down is more your thing, we have some shirts for you. All right, let's get into it. Noah, how's it going? Good, man.
It's been a pretty good week. How about you?
Likewise, it's been a good week. It's fine. I'm so glad that we shoot these on Friday. It's such a fun thing to look forward to now.
Yeah, Friday's a good day for it. It's a nice little weekend beginner.
So let's get into our first segment. We're going to update each other on 3 different segments of our lives: personal, professional, and interests. We do encourage feedback, so anything we talk about, please, if it interests you, leave a comment, and let's start this community.
Let's do it.
Personal, what's going on, Noah?
Not too much. Well, I got a call back about that job. So it looks like I should be starting. It's like a sales training class to start the job. It's starting in like mid to late March, so it gives me a little time to prep and get some stuff done around the house.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Besides that, just had a lovely Valentine's Day afternoon with my beautiful fiance. Made some breakfast and had some lunch, and gonna do a nice little dinner when she gets home from work. So,
what's for dinner?
So I make these. It's like a beef tip and gravy, but it's not really gravy. It's just like a beef consomme. With like red wine, seasonings, and a little bit of flour to thicken it up a little bit, which kind of makes it the gravy. But I usually cut them up into like chunks. But this time I'm gonna see if I could do them in into an actual steak, but make it fall apart like a roast almost.
Dude, that sounds so good.
Yeah,
I definitely need a photo of that.
I'll send it your way. Yeah, some mashed potatoes and some nice wine. And
I have a question for you because you're a really good cook, and you used to be a cook. Do you enjoy cooking more now that you're not doing it for a job, or do you kind of wish that you were still doing it for a job if you could?
If it worked, I did really enjoy cooking. I worked at a place called Canal Street Cafe here in Augusta. It was more of a higher end place, especially for the area. I really enjoyed it while I was there, and I loved coming home and cooking because I was still learning so much new stuff from the head chef. So it definitely amplified my skills and wanting to learn new recipes and procedures and different stuff like that. But no, man, I had a lot of fun doing it. I work with cool people, which always helps. The new stuff is kind of slowed down because I don't have like that mentor type relationship with somebody who I'm working with like daily. It's a fun pastime now instead of an actual job, which makes it a little easier. I'm still making some of the stuff that I was cooking there. Some stuff just never went away. Stuff was good.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, last week we talked about making a career switch and how I was kind of just wanting to double down on video editing. Well, I did in the form of a chunker of a MacBook. I ordered a new MacBook that is spec'd out to the T. We got the new M4 Max chip.
Good Lord.
We've got 2 terabytes of SSD internal storage.
Okay.
I decided to invest in tools that'll make my job easier, because a lot of the stress I was figuring out, like a lot of it was technical. Some of it was technical, some of it was calendar.
Sure.
But I'm fixing the calendar end, and I invested in a new machine that will hopefully run a lot smoother than the 2021 M1 MacBook, and things are looking up. So
That's awesome, man.
And then Valentine's Day, Emma and I are heading out after this, do some cross-country skiing. That's going to be
no kidding.
So much fun. It's our second time. And, yeah, looking forward to that. And then Emma made eggplant lasagna.
Okay.
So we had that once before, and it was very, very good. So looking forward to it again.
Yeah, I think I remembered you telling me about it. I've still never had it, but it sounds good.
Let's talk about professional, dude. What's going on?
So not too much in the way of the hats as of this week, unfortunately. I think I did make up my mind on which direction I want to go. I'm going to keep that foam exposed, but I'm going to see if I can keep it a little bit more in line, so it's not all like jaggedy and looks like a fourth grader did it. So yeah, so that's that. I've been doing a lot of research. I've been doing some drawing. Nothing I'm ready to show because they're just quick sketches, but there's a few lyrics that I want to kind of interpret into designs for some clothes. So
dude, heck yeah.
Yeah, specifically, I think it's in my time of dying, there's a lyric, Led Zeppelin, that I want to do. No, it's Since I've Been Loving You. One of my all-time favorite songs from that, Since I've Been Loving You. There's a line where like all my tears, they fall like rain, or fell like rain, or something along the lines of that. I love the way he performed that specific line, so it kind of inspired me to do a couple sketches that I'm hoping I can turn into reality.
I'm so excited to see that, because like the coin tee was influenced by that, the stolen tee was influenced by music. So this is kind of the next iteration of that.
Yeah.
So and it's more classic. It's classic rock. So
yeah, man, it's the best. It probably won't be a t-shirt unless we decide to make a t-shirt design for it. But what I sketch up is like a pair of jeans, so cargos. Probably not cargos, but like khakis. I don't know, some type of trouser.
That's dope.
Yeah, man.
Heck yeah.
What's going on in your professional life?
In my professional life,
yeah,
really just trying to complete like the back end of our operation in terms of like setting things up in Notion, and specifically setting up what we're calling our first project, which is the road to 100 YouTube subs.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some research and came up with some tasks for us to complete to get us to 100 subs. Which will take us about a month or so, depending on how much traction we get. But
sure.
I have that set up. I'm just trying to set up like all of our like profile stuff, making it consistent. We're going to start releasing shorts in the near future here.
Yep.
And so doing that, and then one thing I wanted to do professionally is a monthly YouTube benchmark. So last week we collected our analytics of our first episode, and what I want to do is every second week of the month we review the previous week's YouTube analytics.
Okay.
As a sort of benchmark to like how we're doing.
Sure.
We kind of went over this in the intro, but we gained 5 subscribers. We're up to 8. We had 20 impressions on long form, which means 20 people saw our video and clicked on it.
Okay.
We had 31 views total, and our average view duration was 3 minutes and 37 seconds. That's kind of what I'm interested in, that our average view duration was only 3 minutes, and I think we need to tighten up the intro of like how long the intro plays before we actually get into the podcast. I think we lose people on that. So, but then again, I mean, this is our first week and this is our first set of metrics. So, I'm there's not anything too much to improve other than maybe cut that intro, but this is just a nice like reference to see how we'll build in the coming months.
Sure. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, neither of us have done this before. And at least speaking for myself, I'm super proud of like, I mean, already from like our first one to this one, I feel like we've already made like a ton of progress, at least in being natural and maybe hopefully a little bit more watchable. So
yeah, no, for sure. I think we've definitely improved a lot, and yeah, I'm just glad that we're doing it. I mean, 5 additional subscribers, like I'm really proud of that.
That's in a week. That's thank you guys so much, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
We have I set a monthly goal, which I haven't told you about.
Okay.
For February of hitting 25 subscribers.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see how that plays out. That's my goal, because we got 5 this week. If we can get another 5, if we can score at least 5, we'll be up to 20. Hopefully, some people see us through like organic promotion.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, man. No,
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we put out. Especially excited to see like more shorts and just more short form content. Yeah, I think we have a lot more to put out than what we have been. So, yeah, spread the word. Stereoface, you know.
Stereoface.vision.
Stereoface.vision.
Let's get into some interests here. You want to go first or me?
I want to hear you first, man. I've been dying to hear.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about this last week, but we pinned it for this week. The past year, Emma and I have been traveling around the United States, primarily on like the West Coast, and every city we've been to, we have seen some freaking darn good artists that I want to share and promote in a sort of way. I was so impressed by how much I really genuinely liked these artists. I don't know. I feel like I really connected with each of these artists in their own way.
Okay.
So in Denver, we went to a So Far show, and the last act of the night was a group called Eyes, and they spell it IIES with a dot.
Okay.
It's like rap jazz kind of a thing.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Some jazz
oh my
rap.
gosh, yeah, jazz rap, and the dude's lyrical content is insane,
Yeah.
and it's all packaged and it's so cleanly. His flow is great, and the group that backs him is, holy crap, they are so freaking talented. So IIES with a dot at the end.
So is it like a main guy, then he has a band behind him?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's kind of like the visionary of the group. But yeah, essentially, I think they promote themselves more of as like a band.
Okay.
I don't exactly know, but their first album wasn't even out when we saw them. It dropped in July, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, it's, oh my gosh, dude, that show was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody was so locked in, and just, I really like artists that have something to say, and Eyes really, like, the lyrical content is insane. And then Portland, I've got 2 from Portland I want to share.
Okay.
One of them is an artist named Kate Wilde.
Okay.
Wilde. And oh my gosh, dude, she plays the harp like you wouldn't believe, and has a voice so freaking amazing. And she writes her own music. And the show that we saw was so freaking cool. We got to learn about her background, and she's. I'm speaking off the top of my head here, and it's not completely correct, maybe, but
Okay.
She's a scientist, and like, she writes songs about, like, they're just inspired by, like, her findings or what she researches and studies.
Okay.
And she had a song about megafauna. Megafauna? Yeah. How, like, giant prehistoric animals that used to roam the earth.
Oh, okay.
She wrote this song just about how it's like they used to be roaming the earth, and then us humans you know, we did our human thing. And just like the song itself was so hauntingly beautiful. It was, and I don't think she has it on Spotify, but if you look up Kate Wild, I was just, dude, her live performance was insane.
That's awesome, man.
It was hauntingly beautiful.
I've never heard of that. Like somebody using, especially like, I'm probably ignorant to it if it's out there. I'm sure it is, but that it's so cool that she's in that profession and she finds so much inspiration from it that she can make such a beautiful song about it. And that's so cool to me.
It is. It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
Just that concept of being able to channel what you do for a living, your career, your passion, and then also take another passion of musical creativity and being able to output just this beautiful piece of art that combines two things that you really love. Yeah. So shout out Kate Wild in the Portland area.
Shout out Kate Wild.
If you're in the Portland area, go check out Kate Wild. And while you're there, you might hear of Nicholas James and the Giant Peach. And we saw him at the same show. And imagine, let's see, are you familiar with Wolfpack?
Yeah.
So imagine like Theo Katzman. Theo Katzman vibes meets with like really complex guitar playing. You have like a pop, I don't know, sorry Nicholas James if you ever watched this. This is my interpretation. Very like pop song structure, but chord wise and guitar playing wise, everything is so much more complex. So it's really unique to hear like this laid back voice and vibe with these like complex, intricate things going on guitar, and then packaging all that in like a pop song structure.
Yeah,
is my best interpretation. But solid performer.
That's awesome, dude. You're selling the hell out of these artists. I want to go see them all. That's
dude,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
they all sound great.
I'm doing my best, and I also apologize if I'm getting it wrong. But again, it's just my interpretation.
Yeah.
Of what I heard. And then Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Emma and I were looking for shows to see, and I was like, Austin feels like it has its own blues category.
Okay.
Almost. And I really wanted to find something that was like, I really wanted to find a band that represented the Austin heritage of music. And Emma and I were looking, and we came across a show for the Peterson Brothers.
Okay.
And they were performing at the Continental Club. And I think they had a residency there for a couple weeks. And we ended up going to the Continental Club one Saturday.
Okay.
And I was blown away by how crisp and how clean their performance was. So the Peterson Brothers are they are two brothers, and one of them is a guitar player, one of them is a bass player.
Right.
I think they both sing, and they played as a trio.
Okay.
And are you familiar with the show on YouTube, Kill Tony?
Is it that comedian?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
Okay, so that show, Kill Tony, has a live band, and the drummer on that show was the drummer for the Peterson Brothers, which I think he sat in. Michael Gonzalez was there. And the Peterson Brothers show was fantastic seeing them live. The skill level on guitar, the skill level on bass, and just how much sonically they brought to the performance.
Right.
With minimal gear. Like, dude had a pretty reasonable pedal board, not anything crazy. The bass player had minimal effects, but just like the effects that they did have, how they used them, everything was so dialed in. And like, that's when I used to play as a trio, that was kind of my, like, I wanted to be as sonically dynamic as possible.
Sure.
Being able to be so loud, so crazy and far out, but then also be able to dial it back, be really quiet, but still clear. And
Right.
the Peterson brothers, oh my gosh, they knocked it out of the park.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, and also shout out to the Continental Club sound guy, because it was just a really good night. Fantastic performances. And like, oh, that's another thing I want to say about the Peterson brothers is with their performance, and something that I wanted to model too, playing live, is they never they hardly stopped to talk and like say, hey, we're the Peterson brothers, you can go follow us and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
They never did that. Like, they literally went from song to song.
Yeah.
They dynamically brought it down.
Sure.
And they were, they were vibing. You can tell it was going into another song. And then they might talk, but people, like, the band is still playing while they're talking.
Right.
And I admire the hell out of that, because like when you're playing a live show, to people who bought tickets, like the last thing I want is for the band to like stop and go, stop and go, stop and go.
Right.
Like, take me on a journey. And they took me on a wild ride.
That's awesome, dude.
Those are the artists that I have listened to over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
Go check out Eyes from Denver, IIES with a dot. Kate Wilde, Nicholas James and the Giant Peach, and the Peterson brothers.
Check them all out. That's
Wonderful.
awesome.
Wonderful artists, wonderful musicians. So, that's what I'm interested in. That went a little long. What's interesting you, Noah Goodell?
So I watched a YouTube video talking about Mayucha Prada's first ready-to-wear collection from Prada in 1988.
Okay, wait. I know nothing of Prada, and I know that that's probably kind of crazy for one face to stare face to admit that. But can you give me a brief history of Prada?
They're Italian. They started doing like purses, wallets, like small leather goods before their first ready-to-wear collection in 1988. It's more of like on the conservative side of dressing, at least for a chunk of them. Like a lot of other designers were kind of going to more less conservative types of dressing, like showing more skin. I guess they're showing a little bit more skin. They're a little more sexy. But Prada was more taking that conservative style and making it fashionable.
Okay, so kind of like being experimental within the constraints.
Yeah, because where that kind of comes into play is 1988. Mayucha Prada designed her first collection, inspired by a lot of the fascist fashion choices of Mussolini period, and the kind of like the after effects of that too. So they're like berets, like their army was like black, like black shirt, black tie, black jacket. A lot of the women wore like more tailored and form-fitting dresses, stilettos. So kind of taking inspiration from that as a backhand to that period of time and the effects that it had on Italy and really the world. She incorporated a lot of those ideas into her line as, like I said, as like a backhand. So there was like berets, there were instead of stilettos, there were like clunky sneakers with big Vibram soles, because Vibram is a Italian brand. And in that period of time, you really couldn't buy anything from anywhere else because like trade was cut off. So you can't buy in, you can't sell out.
Right.
So kind of using that as like I don't want to say Easter egg, but in sorts. So that there were big, beautiful boxy dresses, and lovely colors. Like there was a big color range in them, if I remember correctly. There were obviously blacks and whites, but there were. Let me pull up the line real quick so I can actually.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like Google Images, and
No,
yeah, like
okay. Let me correct myself. Let me correct myself. So she started a brand called Miu Miu, MIU, which then took a lot of those beautiful colors and designs and just a little bit more out there stuff. But on Prada, it was more of the black, whites, reds. I love how she took that period of time and what she was given within the restraints of what she could wear, and basically tell them to F off in the most beautiful and subtle way within her design for Prada's first ready-to-wear collection. But yeah, really just what fascinated me was just all the history behind it, and how much thought went into it and how much pain really went into it throughout the decades of living like that. It caught my eye, and it definitely caught my attention throughout the video. A lot of good information, a good deep dive. So yeah, check it out if you're interested in learning more about it, and hearing somebody much more capable of talking about this than I am.
Okay, so then let me ask you, after absorbing this and appreciating this for what it is, what do you take away from Mayucha's like vision? How do you think you would apply this to Stereoface? Like, would you in any capacity?
Without getting too political, I would. I mean, I have definitely a couple designs that I wouldn't want to put out, just because it wouldn't. It's a little too much. But if I could find a nice way without being like cliche about it, because I feel like a lot of the designs I see about today, referencing today's political climate, especially in the U.S. And there's some good ones, but there's also a lot of corny ones and lazy, and just it makes the statement they're wanting it to make, but from a design place, it's lazy. It's not subtle while still getting your point across, which is what is so brilliant about that product collection. It's brilliant because, yes, at the time, but that's also a good point too. At the time, it was very noticeable, and people called her a fascist in retaliation of this, because she took these fashion from the era. And again, check out the video to learn more, because I'm bad recollection. But I don't know. I mean, there's definitely a lot of ways to look at it. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. I would definitely try to, if I could do it successfully. Check out this video. Check out Prada Fall Winter 1988, the lookbook. It's beautiful, and there's a lot to be studied from it.
All right, we've been rambling.
Yeah, we have, man. I got an hour and 10 minutes on my camera right now.
I think we're gonna put a pin in this Stereocast here. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go over a quick run of the metrics again. Shout out to our 5 subscribers who have subscribed this week, and Instagram followers, we are at 59. So thank you all so much for your support, and if you're new here, please drop a like, subscribe, do all the social media stuff if you can spare the time. We'd really appreciate it. Noah, you got anything else to say?
Yeah. Again, thank you so much for giving us some love. We very much appreciate it. Tune in next week to watch our conversation with Grant to talk about our creative process in the overalls that we made. So
that's right.
That's exciting.
That will be exciting. I'm excited to catch up with him. So
it's been a while.
All right. Noah, thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Viewers, thank you. And thanks for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Peace.